A map makes or breaks how fun a shooter is. It doesn't matter how great the movement or gunplay is of a game. If the maps aren't creative, the gameplay won't be fun either. But then again, if a map is too wacky, it becomes unbalanced and not viable for a competitive shooter. Let's have a look at this simple map I made. We spawn on this side of the Tower of Crates, while our opponent spawns on the opposite side. It's the perfect balanced map. And in most games that allow mod support, it's perhaps not so coincidentally also the starting design of the notorious 1v1A map, as there is nothing randomly affecting your mechanical skill and game decision. You can move to the left or to the right of the tower, or wait for your opponent to push up. Nothing else impacts your game decision, resulting in the person with the better mechanical skill and game decision continuously winning from their opponent. Even Valve, the company behind one of the biggest FPS games in the world, CSGO, acknowledges how balanced the simple map design like this is. If you choose to queue up for a competitive game and your PC isn't an absolute potato that takes ages to join, you'll start the match in the warm-up phase in a small closed 1v1 arena. Truth be told, it's not exactly like our 1v1 crate map, but rather the next iteration, as both players now spawn behind their own crate. But you get the idea. It's a map to be balanced. The keyword here is balanced. Because let's be honest with ourselves, right? It's not really a fun map to play on. It probably will be for a good 50 minutes or so, but eventually you'll get bored of it and you would want to play something else. The oh so balanced Tower Crate map is a failure. But why? It's balanced and focused on skill, everything what a competitive map should be, so why aren't people enjoying it? Simple. It's repetitive and doesn't allow a lot of creativity, which makes it boring. If you really want to make a competitive map, it has to be both balanced and fun. As the more fun it is, the longer and the more people will play on it, which means more competition. So what can we do to improve our design? And this question is the question that all mappers continuously ask themselves when making a map. A question dating all the way back to the first mappers in the original Quake. It is only natural that humans want to make their product better, so the issue from here on out is, how do we make it better? And when is it too much better? If our players don't like how simple our map is, why don't we add 2 crates on each side around the middle? Still too simple? Let's add another crate to the middle. And also, let's place a half wall on the sides of our spawning crates to allow us to peek out from cover while crouched. Might as well throw a sniper nest you can climb up behind each spawn to get some vertical gameplay into the mix. So what about now? Is it still too simple? I personally wouldn't call it simple anymore, but solely repetitive. By adding these obstacles on the map, we did nothing but prolong the inevitable: boredom. There's a reason why in CSGO the 1v1 arenas are used for warm-up only, and why the actual map you queued for is much bigger and more advanced. Speaking of the actual map, the biggest difference between our map and the loved and settled FPS layout is that their maps aren't symmetrical, yet they are balanced and fun. How did they manage to make a non-symmetrical map competitively viable? To answer this question, we should take a look at the kind of games that have non-symmetrical maps within the FPS genre. Some obvious titles are Valorant, CSGO, Rainbow Six, Apex, Overwatch, TF2, and titles that don't have symmetrical maps are Splitgate, Overwatch, TF2... Wait, hold on. Overwatch and TF2 have both non-symmetrical and symmetrical maps? Well, as a self-proclaimed Team Fortress 2 veteran, it didn't take long to figure out why. It's all about the game mode you're playing on. If you are playing Capture the Flag or King of the Hill, it would be weird if one of the teams had a strategically better place to shoot you from than the other team, making the map unbalanced and ultimately not competitively viable. So what is the obvious thing to do? Well, to mirror the layout of both sides. It doesn't matter if we choose to mirror the overpowered side or the weaker side. Either way, we will make the map balanced and hopefully also fun. I say hopefully because, like we learned from our crate map, just mirroring gets boring eventually. And this is where Valorant comes into play. Valorant and all other attack defense shooters, including TF2 and Overwatch with their alternative game modes, make you switch sides. Imagine that we are playing on a horribly unbalanced map. One team spawns in the open and the other hunkered down with many pixel angles and cheeky peeking spots. It's a horribly imbalanced map and also not symmetrical. However, by switching the teams around halfway the match, we give the team that had to struggle against the better sided team now the better side themselves. By switching the teams halfway, both teams get the opportunity to abuse the overpowered side, meaning it is balanced and competitively viable, correct? According to Riot's devlogs, one of the early concepts for Pearl was for it to be an uphill battle for attackers, which, without getting too much into crosshair placement, would mean it would be horribly defender-sided. In the end, they scrapped the idea and went for a more industry-standard approach. But why? The map is competitive if we switch the teams around, but that isn't true. The game mode would be balanced, but the map horribly defender-sided, so it's unbalanced. It would still mean that the map would be playable competitively due to the game mode, but if we put it into a King of the Hill scenario, it would not be balanced at all. So the map on its own is not balanced, which makes the map uncompetitive. But what it will be, just like all other non-symmetrical maps benefit from, is being more fun for a longer period of time compared to a symmetrical map, as you basically play entirely different scenarios when switching sides, which eliminates the feeling of a map being repetitive. Of course, you'll eventually get bored of the map if you play it long enough, but by you switching sides, you could play the maps for dozens of hours without getting bored from it. So now we get the issue. If we go for a symmetrical map, it gets boring, aka it's not fun. But if we go for a unsymmetrical map, it gets unbalanced. If only we could make a balanced and fun map at the same time. And we can. Let's take a look at the blueprint of Dust 2, the most competitive map in seemingly the entire history of FPS gaming. B-Bombsite is a close quarters with opportunity for long-range sniping, while Bombsite A is long-range with ample of opportunity for close range engagement. None of the both sides are strictly forbidden to one kind of playstyle, which makes it fun, while at the same time keeping it mostly balanced for all types of guns. Though it probably won't be smart to run A long with a shotgun. But then again, it wouldn't be smart to run B with a shotgun either, as there could be someone contesting you from long range. But then again, there could be someone getting close to the corner of A long that you could easily kill with your shotgun. Do you see where I'm getting at? There are many variations that can impact whether a strategy will work or not. And that is the beauty of a competitive map. If winning a round depends on mechanical skill, game knowledge and a bit of luck while simultaneously allowing you to approach a choke point with a lot of opportunities, it makes a really good and fun map, and will result in the halftime score to be mostly evenly split. So in Valorant terms, the halftime score when you switch would be between 4-8 and 6-6. And keep in mind, it was also fun to play. I'm not saying symmetrical maps are boring, but to make a symmetrical map more fun than a non-symmetrical map is an achievement that not many maps can proudly say they are. While calling a non-symmetrical map balanced is another achievement on its own. That requires a lot, and trust me, a lot of playtesting and fine-tuning of a map. So in conclusion, a competitive map is competitive when it's balanced but fun at the same time. It shouldn't matter which side you play on, the halftime score should always be roughly the same. Rest in peace, our great map. If you like this kind of video, let me know in the comments and please subscribe. Thank you.